psukim have, and you look in the Sefer Torah and the Chumash, they have the letter Nun and it's upside down. And then it says, "Vayihi ha'am ki mis'oinim ra b'oznei Hashem." There were people that were complaining. They went 3 days. They said Hashem is working hard on us. He's putting us to hard work because they didn't go by choice. Api Hashem Yisuv, Api Hashem Yachnu. When the Anan moved, they had to follow the cloud of glory, and the cloud moved and moved and moved, and they're traveling 3 days without resting. They're traveling and not stop. They said Hashem doesn't have any pity on us. They began complaining, and this was an enormous chet. And then it continues, and it brings another chet. What's the second chet? Then it says, there was a mischayim. It's unbelievable, these things, what's written here. And came a fire, and it burnt, so people got burnt. And then there was another chet. They had a desire, they had a taiva. And here again, Rashi says, what's this taiva? Ramban explains, they had the man. And the man, they could taste every single thing that one wants. But they didn't have physical food. They had the man, they couldn't see it. They could imagine, they had to imagine in their mind, and suddenly the dimyon, the imaginary taste came. But it wasn't reality. Hisabu taiva, they wanted to have it physically. Hisabu taiva. And this was a chet. We have the kibbutz ha-taiva, they buried the misabim. So Rashi brings from Chazal, why is these two psukim of the traveling of the ark, which had the tablets, surrounded by these two nunim? So it says it's to lahapsik, to divide bein poroniot leporoniot, between terrible tragedies that befell Klal Yisrael. It shouldn't be a chazaka. The Torah didn't want to write up a chazaka. 3 times as a chazaka. The Torah didn't want to write in order 3 consecutive tragedies that happened as they left the middle. I guess the pshat is what the Torah writes. We know that this generation is the seed of all Klal Yisrael. What happened to this generation? This is a sign for future. So the Torah wanted to divide between that there should be 3 tragedies in a row. Ask the Ramban, he says, I don't see the 3 tragedies here. I see the chet of Kimis Eininim, that they didn't appreciate the Toivus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Rashi says in length. Right? Well, first, let's see. There are 2 chatoim. One chet, which is specifically we see here by Hiyom Kimis Eininim. Rashi explains the hit onen is to awaken self-pity. Let's say when everything is fine. Oh, I'm such a wretched. I'm such a misken. I don't think such a misken. Poor guy, so poor my situation. To self-pity, I have this wrong and that wrong and this wrong. And everything is relative and everything is the perspective where you look. Like, to put a very common day expression, are you busy looking at the half of glass which is full, or are you looking at the half of glass which is empty? And everybody can compare himself, it's how you compare yourself, that's how you see yourself. I'm shifting for a minute. In Elenu we say, Hashem is in the heaven above, so the world said, in the land on the bottom. So the world says that this pasuk is telling you as well a message. What's the message? The nature of the person is, the parts of the person in his life is spiritual and is material. How does a person measure himself? When he's judging himself, his mitzvahs, so he looks, compared to this guy, I'm a big chacham. Compared to his ma'asim, I'm a big tzaddik. So in spiritual things, he looks down. Who has less than me? He says, I'm pretty well off. When it comes to the material things, did you see that beautiful house that he has? Did you see that beautiful piece that he bought? Did you see that he went on to which hotel he went on vacation? So in material, he doesn't look at who has less than him. In material, he looks who has more than him. So he's always in a thirst for more material. And Ruchnius, he gives himself a good mark. So the pasuk says, what should be the emes? Shemayim is those things which are spiritual, things are heavenly things. Mimal, You always have to look above. Who's better than you? To drive yourself for a greater, to push yourself more, to become a bigger tzaddik, to become a bigger chacham, to be closer to Hashem. Vashemayim, the opposite. Vashemayim, mimar. V'alo oretz, oretz are the things, the material things. Look who has less than you. In the pleasures of this world, alo oretz mitachas. The way should be of a person is exactly the opposite. In ruchnius, always look who has more than you. Don't be satisfied. Don't be a samech b'chelka. You know, a person suddenly, when it comes to ruchnius, he's samech b'chelka. Listen, you have to be satisfied with what you have. Then when it comes to how much is in the bank account, no, then so he's not samech b'chelka. So it has to be in gashmius, you have to be samech b'chelka. In ruchnius, you're not supposed to be samech b'chelka. Now this was a fantastic chet of Klal Yisrael. What the Hashem was doing for their benefit. He wanted to bring them in immediately into Eretz Yisrael. And when they complained, they didn't see the tayv, they didn't see that Hashem was doing the tayv, this was a chet. But the next chet was that they had a tayv. But the Ramban says, but where's the first chet? So the Ramban brings a medrash. And he says that this chet is the source of all the chatayv. By Yisu Mehar Hashem, so the Ramban brings a medrash. The medrash says they left the mountain of Hasinai because it was Har Hashem. They had to leave. They left because Hashem, the cloud of glory, moved. But somewheres in their heart they said, oh, Baruch Hashem, we're moving. Who knows, it will stay a bit longer. In the meantime, we have 613 mitzvahs. Maybe we're going to get another 613 mitzvahs. It's enough already. But sure. Baruch Hashem, that means that's it. This is it. This is about the Torah, for the Torah. No more mitzvahs. Somewheres they were in their heart happy. They left with a certain happiness. The happiness was, the Chazal call it, Ketinoik haboreach mi beit hasefer. Like a child, like the happiness of a child when the bell rings and the class is over. Like a child running out of school. It says, a Klal Yisrael, Chazal, criticized Klal Yisrael that somewhere in their heart they left Hasinai. Hasinai was in the Beis Medrash, and they left the Beis Medrash like the child is happy when the bell rings. One might be happy to go to lunch after the shmooze is over. And that's what the Torah, and he says the Torah calls this Peronius, even though nothing happened, because this is the source of all the Peronius. This is the source of all the Chatoyim and everything of Klal Yisrael. In fact, let's go over. Let's see. I think you can make here a series. One runs out from the Beis HaSefer. One is from learning. If one runs away from learning, then one isn't happy. One loses Hakoras HaTayv. One isn't happy with oneself. One isn't happy with oneself. One finds what to complain about. After one finds what to complain about, one looks like let's enjoy life. So one begins looking for Tanugim. It's a Seder. These three Chatoyim, I can say, I think you can find by every individual in life. It begins, and where does everything begin? By Yisu Mehar Hashem. Because there's a koyach in Torah to put the person down, to stabilize a person, give him the true values. When a person studies Torah, he gets in contact with his nefesh. It gives him self-respect. It makes him a sense of his true identity, who he really is, and it rises him above of the Tanugim of this world. But for Yisu Mehar Hashem, when they lost the connection with the value of the study of Torah, that's what we began with. That's the source of all the Chatoyim of Klal Yisrael, all the progress. So that's called Bronius. Now let's get back to the Nun Hafuch. Why specifically did the Torah here we have like this? Vanan Hashem, and said the Torah tells us they were traveling. Vanan Hashem Aleihim, the cloud of glory was upon them as they traveled from the Machan. And then it has a Nun Hafuch. So the Klayokah says something interesting, fascinating about this concept of Nun Hafuch, the Nun upside down. He says like this. It's known, the parable of Rabbi Akiva. You know that Rabbi Akiva told others when the Romans made a decree that one shouldn't learn Torah, and somebody said, Rabbi Akiva gathered students together and learned Torah, and they told Rabbi Akiva, you're putting your life in danger. It's known that Chazal, Rabbi Akiva said a parable of a fox saw the fish in the water, and the fishermen were trying to catch the fish. So the fox told the fish, My dear friends, what are you staying in the water? In the water they put nets and they catch you. Come up on ground with me and walk together with me. There they can't put nets and catch you. So the fish said, you stupid fool that you are. Here we're getting caught where our whole life depends on it. We're going to live when we live from our life. What does it help? They won't catch us. Well, that's we'll die in the ground. So Rabbi Akiva said the same thing. The life of Am Yisrael and the existence of Am Yisrael depend on the study of Torah. The Torah is compared to water, and Am Yisrael is compared to fish in water. Like the blessing of Yaakov Avinu to Ephraim and Menashe. Yidgul l'roiv b'kerev ha'aretz. They should multiply like fish. Like fish, their whole chiyut, their whole substance of life is in the water. So the substance of life of Am Yisrael is in the water like fish, the water of Torah. So he said, if we're in danger when we study Torah, if we'll stop studying Torah, we'll be in multiple danger. This is Rabbi Akiva said. So the nun, now the word nun in Hebrew is a fish. The word nun means a fish. A fish is called nun. So a fish doesn't aim for the shores. He doesn't travel to the shores. The fish, because that's not his life. The fish goes to the center of the sea. He doesn't go towards the shore. And if you see a fish running to the shore, he's not a fish. He's an opposite fish. He's upside down fish. So that's the nun hapuch. The nun hapuch is by Yisroel Mehar Hashem. When they traveled away from the mountain of Hashem, this was an upside down fish. This is a fish running away from the shore to the shore. He's running away from the source of life. That's the nun hapuch. And that's the source of all the problems of Klal Yisrael. That's because, like we had in the Parshas B'Chut Kosa, the study of Torah brings a person closer to Hashem, and ein Pur'anius bala olam, no Pur'anius come to this world, ela b'shvivitul Torah. Where there's the study of Torah, it teaches a person, it rises a person above all sorts of different things. The skula of Torah. Torah puts a person with his neshama, and here I just quote from the Chazon Ish in short. The Chazon Ish speaks about Mussar in general. And he says like this. He says Mussar doesn't tell a person to uproot self-love. Mussar doesn't tell a person not to run after pleasures. Mussar doesn't tell a person not to run after covet. Because all these things, the seeking of pleasure is a positive element that HaKadosh Baruch Hu put into a human being. And if you try to uproot these things, it's self-destructive. You're destroying the person. What does the Mussar say? The Mussar says, love yourself, but know what the self-love is. Run after covet, but know what the true covet is. True covet is to leave covet. True covet is humility. True covet is the knowledge of Torah. Know what true honor is. Look for honor, but know what honor is. This is the language of the Chazon Ish. He said, if a person tries to uproot self-love, it's self-destruction. Hamusa oimer la'orda. Ehov et atzmecha. Love yourself. Rechosh kavod. Go out there and get honor. What honor? From this guy? He's going to die like I'm going to die. Avodah lecha. Ma oshrecha ma kvoidcha. Ein kavod el Torah. Ein kavod el hanava. True honor is humility. Ein kavod el aziva sakov. That have the capacity to leave covet. That's the true covet. That's the true. Ein oisha. What's true satisfaction and true pleasure? To be free from the hatmura who wants to eat Sahara. Nishtachdem et diotiliot. Not to be a kaiser. To be a savlan. To have patience. Not to be an angry person. To have humility. Not to be a balgaiva. All these things, it naturally stops. You wait long enough, everything stops. Ein oisha. The Ein Oisha Rak, true satisfaction is to free oneself from the natural implements which draw a person away from Hashem. The true pleasure is to be Nichnam Hashem V'Torasa, the tachlis of this world. So, what gives a person this possibility when a person is working out his mind, in the year of Torah, this rises him above this world and gives him this power, because then he senses his true identity. His true identity is his neshama and nefesh, and the nefesh wants chachma. So, Yisu Mehar Hashem, the natural outcome of Yisu Mehar Hashem is hitodinut, is self-complaint, self-pity, and then looking for physical pleasures. And the opposite is when you go to Har Hashem, and you're happy to be in Har Hashem, this brings samech v'chelkoi, this brings appreciation from Tanugim. We can learn from those chatoim the opposite. The opposite is the bracha, and the Balaturim says, B'nosom min ha'machna, the Balaturim says something unbelievable. The word b'nosom, which is right after the Sisum Hashem, we find only two places in the Torah. One place is over here, the other place is b'nosom mikedem, in the Dorah Floga, that they traveled away from Kadmoinu Shalaylam, they traveled away from the Bari Olam. When a person is happy to leave the Beis Medrash, he's leaving the Bari Olam. When he's happy to be in the Beis Medrash, he's putting himself in connection with the Bari Olam, and he's in the Kadmoinu Shalaylam. Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu B'Olam Yilad Adam Sha'alach V'Bad.